have been peaceful, though. So what can we make of what we saw of President Trump today and what we heard from him? What does his speech and the corresponding body language tell us about the man himself? I'm joined now by speechwriter Ayesha Hazarika, who was a political advisor for Ed Miliband when he was the leader of the Labour Party. And also here is body language expert Judi James. Now, Ayesha, we'll start with the inauguration speech. Let's have a look at one of the moments that you have picked out for us.
This is your day. This is your celebration. And this, the United States of America, is your country. What truly matters is not which party controls our government, but whether our government is controlled by the people. January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer.
So, Ayesha, we heard some reports this morning suggesting he was going to somehow evoke the spirit of Ronald Reagan and John F. Kennedy. Others saying he'd written that himself. It looked ad-libbed. I'm not sure if it was, but what's your verdict on it?
I think this was a speech. It was very much his own speech. It was very much throwing red meat to the people who brought him into office, the Rust Belt. He used the word people a lot. And, you know, that language was very much sending a message that got really swept into power, which was why the Capitol Hill is about elites. I'm not about elites. I'm about you, the people. I'm going to stand up for the forgotten people of this country. So I thought it was a very traditional Donald Trump speech. I think it would have been surprising if he suddenly changed his style and his rhetoric away from his election campaign. It was about patriotism. It was about protectionism. It was not about reaching out and trying to divide people. The language was quite... it was quite coarse, some of the language he talked about, we bleed the same and things like that. So I thought it was a very red meat speech for the Rust Belt. Although,
as he took the lectern, he was quite profuse in his praise for the outgoing President Obama. And then when he faced the crowd, he was completely the opposite in his views on what had been done the past 8 years. Now, Judi, you've picked out something from his speech which is important regarding his body language. Let's take a quick look.
From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
OK, why have you picked that up, Judi? I think I can guess. It's the hand gestures, isn't it?
It is, you're absolutely right. This is a man that describes himself in the third person. He's very much a Trump brand. And he used always those iconic, I call them the LOL gestures. So he'd always in the past go like that, and like that. Suddenly,
so we're meant to laugh out loud at that point?
I would always laugh. That's what I thought he was saying to me. But clearly he was something he was taking a lot more seriously. You're quite right. I thought that was going to change. I thought we were going to get something a lot more presidential, more like Obama, less showboating. But no, that was still there. What I found slightly worrying, and I found the talk quite frightening, it was so aggressive. He was squaring up to it like a boxer. But when he got to his main message, which was America first, it was as though suddenly all of those gestures found their moment. So he's turned it into his rallying cry. You know, this, we are one nation, we're together, and everybody else can more or less stay away.
And he does do that thing, which,
yes,
you know, to my mind, that used to mean, hey, A-OK. He
yes,
does that a lot to punctuate his sentences, like I'm doing now.
And uses it as a baton gesture, absolutely right. It's over-congruent, it's over-emphatic, but it worked really well because most people, when they were listening to his speeches, they don't really listen that much. All they see is, oh, we've got problems in this country, but the subliminal message is, it's all going to be OK.
Let's read some more of those subliminal messages from his body language. He was at a reception today at the White House with the outgoing Obamas. What can you tell us about the pictures of that, if we can have a look at them?
This was so clunky. This was so awkward. I mean, the first thing was that he couldn't look Obama in the eye when he went up the stairs. The body language became really awkward, and then there was this dreadful gift that was given that just got in the way. I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was after dinner mints or something. But the whole thing was extremely awkward. Michelle Obama today has been absolutely magnificent, and we've been admiring her so much because she did not play ball. She was standing apart from them. Her face was etched, wasn't it, with
I think that's absolutely
dignity.
right. I think in lots of the newspapers tomorrow there will be her face looking crestfallen and heartbroken.
Can we just break away from what he said and how he said it for a second to just admire how both women were dressed? Impeccably well dressed, did you not think?
We're not talking about like Trump's tie or anything like that.
I think they both look
But
fantastic.
this is what you see. All we're going to get now is women are going to be relegated. That we'll be getting the Jackie O look tomorrow. And with Michelle Obama, you didn't get that. You got the strong woman look.
And I think there's going to be a lot of young women who will be saying, right, I have to look like a supermodel now, because Melania is a beautiful woman, but you can be more than just beautiful. You can be brainy and you can be empathetic as well.
Coming back to that inaugural address, Ayesha, do we get any flavour that he is going to change now he is officially the president, or was the old Trump shooting from the lip underneath it all?
I think the Donald is back in town, and I think people voted for the Donald, and we've got the Donald now. And I think for me, the really worrying thing was a lean to sort of foreign politics. He said this thing about how we're going to unite the civilized world against radical Islam, and I thought that was quite an aggressive thing to say. So I think the entire world will be watching that, thinking, yeah, we've got a kind of problem on our hands.
Judi, just very briefly to finish, why does the Donald talk about the Donald in the third person?
In the third person.
What does that do?
It's as though I think it makes life really good for him, because if the Donald's behaving badly, it kind of isn't him. He's able to just think of it as, it's not really me. This is somebody called Donald Trump that I've created.
Well, now the Donald is the president. Thank you both very much indeed. That's it from us.